Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Podcast 20. If you're new to the channel, make sure to go subscribe. And to go follow me on Instagram at Podcast 20. Today we're going to be talking about a very special show that I've watched on Netflix with basically within a week, all 6 seasons. I've watched Community, or I'm talking about Community. I'm going to do a review on Community right here, right now, and talk about what I thought about the show, what worked, what didn't work, what this is just my thoughts on the show. And the thing everybody's mind is, are they gonna have a movie? Are they gonna do, if they do a movie, what's gonna happen? Who is gonna come back? That's what I want to discuss. And they just did a podcast with basically almost a original cast minus one person. We're going to talk about that incident as well, and just all the stuff about Community and all the stuff I researched about Community. So yeah, I've done a little bit of research, and I've done a little bit of uh, what happened behind the scenes, what happened, and all that stuff. So I think that Community is a very good show. The first 3 seasons are phenomenal. Um, Unbeatable. It's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. The way the people they mesh together, like, base peanut butter and jelly. Uh, it's like a puzzle piece. They all go together very well, and I just want to give you that analogy because I want to touch on that a little bit later. But there is, I just like the show. There's the comedy, the timing of the comedy, the lines, the cohesiveness of the show. How it felt like the first 3 seasons felt very like continued, very like almost like it was just all one episode. It was just continued, very flowed very well, and I felt that it was a great addition to the show. That it was just all continued very well, and season 4, 5, and 6 were, especially season 4. Everybody says that's the worst season. Is season 4, and maybe some of you don't know, but they fired the creator of the show, Dan Harmon, who created the show, who was basically the heart of the show. So when he left, they had different show writers that had a different flavor of the show, and they try to recreate something that maybe wasn't. It just wasn't the same. It didn't feel the same. It wasn't a very cohesive story. Um, it was just some stuff out of left field, and it didn't make any sense. It didn't have any like from one episode to another, it didn't make like, oh, this makes sense for the next episode. Oh, this makes sense for the next episode. How season 1, 2, and 3 felt, where it was like all continued, all made sense for the next episode. It just felt like a continued story, whereas season 4 felt sporadic. And like I was telling one of my friends that in season 1, 2, and 3 that I felt there was I laughed like at least 20 times per episode, at least amount. I laughed 20 times per episode. Season 4, I laughed maybe twice throughout the whole season. The jokes were not good, the writing was not good, the story was not good. So it was just very hard to get through season 4. It was very like, oh man, I can't believe why. And then thankfully they brought Dan Harmon back for season 5 and season 6, so that's why it was like a little bit better. But you can see how when a creator leaves a show, how it could just change the whole system. Where it's like, oh, this doesn't make any sense, and the stuff that just doesn't mesh in season 4, and you can see why, because there's different writers, different showrunners, different creative mind behind it. That guy who created the show, it was his passion, and season 4 felt kind of lazy. Like, oh, we just need to do another season because I guess because the fans wanted it, so we're just gonna do another season. Let's just throw this together. That's what it felt like. They just threw it together last minute or whatever. But see, and then when they started changing characters, like when Pierce left and when Troy left and um when they left, it was just a whole different, and then all these new characters came back. um it was just not, and the other character that she left as well, one who play, I forget her name on the show. I believe her real name is Yvette Brown. And when she Shirley, her name is Shirley on the show. uh she When those three people left, it just felt like a completely different show. uh Let me know in the comments below, like, did you feel like it was a different show when they left? Because those people were a definitive part of the first three seasons. Like I was saying before, it was like a puzzle piece. Now you're just putting different puzzle pieces together, and it just felt completely different from where they started. Sometimes I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but in this instance, it didn't feel like what we were used to, what brought people onto the show, and they were just trying to do something different, but it just didn't work. Understand other people had obligations. Um, they didn't want to be on the show anymore, but it just felt like a different show after they left, especially Abed and Troy. When Troy left, they tried to pair him with Annie, which I feel it did not work at all. Um, just the dynamic of Abed and Troy was really good, and their chemistry together, they played off each other really well, because Troy was kind of, like Abed in a way, and Annie is nothing like she felt like she was just trying to help him, while Abed was like actually his friend, and there was just that chemistry was unmatched. And when he left, Abed didn't really have anybody to play off, because he is a funny character. A lot of people say he's their favorite character on the show, but I felt like he had a chance to play off Troy and play off of these other people, and when he didn't have a chance to play off these other people that who left, it especially Troy, they didn't have just that spark that we want and we know and we've come to love. And Pierce was my favorite character on the show. It's my opinion. He was my favorite character. I know there was a lot of stuff um, behind the scenes that was going on, which probably led him to leave the show. Uh, he was literally my favorite character on the show, and he all the jokes he did. Chevy Chase is phenomenal playing Pierce. He's been an actor longer than any of the other people. His comedic timing is on point. His delivery is on point. Uh, I believe he would just make anything funny. He's just a funny guy naturally, probably, and which is probably why he was on SNL, and he did all these movies, and Three Amigos. He's phenomenal character of a person as well, and he's very funny, and his stories that he tells. But I know that he got in with it with if you've seen go on the internet, you could probably see the voicemail that Chevy left Dan Harmon, but Dan Harmon has later said that he regrets releasing that voicemail to the people, and that the internet, he was saying that it was just supposed to be for those 100 people there at where they were doing it or whatever. It was like a Q&A or something, and he released it. What Pierce said, what Chevy said to him, on this is all behind the scenes, by the way, and he released like the voicemail, and it got on the internet, and just a whole bunch of people saw it, and he probably got hurt by that, and he didn't want to be the um, I feel like that was kind of like a personal thing, that they was just them. But I believe that they've hashed it out. Dan Harmon said that they are friends again. Hopefully, if they do a movie, that Chevy Chase would be in it. Because I don't know if I want to see a movie without Pierce, aka Chevy Chase, aka Pierce. And is that a movie that you want to see? I want to see the OG, people. If they are gonna get a movie, I don't think they want the season 6 cast. They're gonna want maybe the season 1 cast, with everybody back. I think it would be hard to get everybody back for a movie. Donald Glover is probably the one where it's like, I know they're gonna do a table read on the 15th. So I think Friday, I believe they're gonna do like a table read. But they just did a podcast. Uh, Joe McHale's and Ken's podcast, the Darkest Timeline podcast. They just did, they reunited everybody except for Chevy Chase. So a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Chevy Chase is gonna be part of the thing." Are they still mad at Chevy? Do people still not like Chevy? If they do a season 6 movie, will they want Chevy back? I want Chevy back, but I think that if everybody else does not want Chevy back and they say, "Oh, we're gonna bring him back," I don't think that he's gonna be a good fit for the movie. But I, especially the way they wrote his character back in 2009, the stuff that he said and all that stuff, especially in this climate, uh, will they have him back? But who knows? But I would really want him back. Would you want to see a movie without him? Because I really want to see him in the movie. Uh, I want to see him in that table read that they do on the 15th. That's just apparently going to do a table read, but I don't know if Chevy's going to be it. Does he not? I don't know. They haven't really said if they don't want him to do. I don't think they're going to answer that, but we don't know if he doesn't want to do it, or if he doesn't want to, or if they don't want him to do it. Are they still beefing? Do you still have a problem? Basically, do they still have a problem with Chevy? Who knows? And besides that, uh, great show, very funny show. One of the funniest shows again I've ever seen. Seasons 1 through 3 were the best. Season 1 again is probably the best season. Uh, 2 and 3 were phenomenal. Phenomenal. 4 probably the worst season. Season 5 again they're having different people, and I just feel like it's just a different show. It's not Community. It's just I feel like it's just a different show. Because the people, when you play off people, it's just gonna be a different. When you have different people, you're gonna act different. I get with different people. So I just felt like it's just a different show because these people are acting on different things, and the scenarios for everybody has changed because before everybody was just there for Spanish class, and now one's a teacher, one is this, one is like uh, another one's like another professor, and another one's is so it's just everybody's different as well in their lives when they first started. I know that for a show, especially going on after 6 seasons, it's gonna change, but just to me, it felt just a different show. I don't feel like it was as good as season 1, 2, and 3. Season 5 was okay. Season 6 was iffy. Um, I wish they had a better season finale. Uh, I really, yeah, wish I had a different finale. I wish they got everybody back for the season finale. That would have been really cool. But I know probably Donald Glover and Chevy Chase are probably busy, and everybody else was busy, especially Donald Glover with his music career and his bigger acting career, comedian. So he was probably not gonna be a part of that. And for the table read that they're gonna do on the 15th, they said the whole cast of Community is coming back, including Donald Glover. So, because he's probably the biggest draw for that as well, but they didn't include Chevy Chase. I think that if they include Chevy Chase, people be happy. I'll be happy. I don't know about um, other people who've watched the show, other people who have seen the show. Do you want to see Chevy in the table read? I really do. I think that, but I don't want. I guess maybe if it's like awkward or whatever, maybe not. But like, I want to see the full cast. I don't want to see people missing. I want to see the whole cast. And what made the show very special was, all these people playing off each other and the delivery of everybody. Everybody had a specific role on the show, and everybody's um, position on the show was just magnificent. They like all a team, basically like a team sport, basically, where everybody had their part to play and everybody played it beautifully. They played to everybody's strengths. They gave Chevy Chase all the funniest lines because it's probably the funniest person on the out of because he's been doing comedy the longest. He was on SNL. He's done all these great movies, and he's just a funny guy. So I think everybody had their own thing, and but yeah, that's my like review and talk of Community. Um, I don't know if I have very more to say about it, but it was just I'm just saying it's a phenomenal show. If you haven't seen it, spoilers, I guess, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, but I basically seen all. It was so good. I seen basically all 6 seasons within a week. Um, the last parts were like were really hard to get through. I just wanted to finish, so maybe I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna get a spark back. Maybe they're gonna get a spark back. Maybe they'll get a spark back. But it just never reached that high of season. After season 3 ended, it just never got better. Like those first two paintball episodes were phenomenal, but then they tried to do it in the later half, which was not as good. If you remember, this paintball session was not as good in season 6 as seasons 1, 2, and 3. Um, it just wasn't as good. Maybe they were just losing money. Maybe it was because on a different network. Um, but it just wasn't as good. Maybe you thought it was better. Let me know in the comment section below. There were some characters I wanted maybe to see more of. Um, Brie Larson's character would have been really cool. She was actually part of the show. She was maybe like in 3 episodes. I feel like after Troy left, I think that I was excited because I was like, oh, Brie Larson's character with Abed, she was playing off Abed really good. They were actually really good together, and when she wouldn't return, I was like, then they try to place Abed with Annie. I'm like, that's not a pair. That pair does not work. Him with Brie Larson actually really worked. Their chemistry together was actually really good. I felt like I think I wanted to see more of Brie Larson on the show. Um, I think that's about it. Um, but yeah, all the people who left, just yeah, again, who just felt different. John Oliver, he was going on to his show, John Oliver's show. Um, who else? Donald Glover, he started his music career and all that stuff. Chevy Chase, I think he just didn't want to be on the show anymore. Yvette Brown, she just had family stuff as well. Family, she wanted to take care of her family, so she probably left the show for that reason, I believe. Um, yeah, and all those people left, and it was just kind of a different show after those people left, and that's just my opinion. I know I said that a lot, but I just I really wanted the show to succeed. Uh, Hopefully, we get a movie. I think that a lot of people are discovering Community now, maybe who have never heard of Community, because basically I didn't really hear about Community until my friend told me about it like 2 months ago. I'm like, how come I've never heard about this show? Um, I think my shows were different than Community when it was on, but it was. I'm glad that I found it. I'm glad my friend told me about it. A lot of people are discovering it. It's like one of the top TV shows on Netflix right now, so a lot of people are discovering it. Uh, I'm recommending it to people who haven't seen it. A lot of people are just basically discovering it right now. So I think that I think they put it on Netflix right now to see uh, are people interested in watching a movie, and are people actually gonna watch the movie if we actually put it out? Because famously the Russo brothers were on it. Dan Harmon, he's creator of the show, and then he also created co-creator of Rick and Morty. So all these good people are worked on it, and it's just awesome. So I think that I'm gonna end the podcast right here. Let me know your thoughts on Community. Did you love the show? Did you love all 6 seasons? Do you agree with me that you felt it was a different show after season 3? Just let me know in the comment sections below. Again, go follow me on Instagram at podcast20. Love you guys. And I'll try to be posting at least once a week. Next week, hopefully, I'll have a guest on. I've been trying to work out the Zoom to get guests on the show without, because, in this quarantine times. So I had guests lined up, but after this happened, and then I had to do some different stuff. So hopefully after this, I could get Zoom, have guests on. I'm working on it, so hopefully next week we'll have a guest on, and we'll talk about what they like to talk about, their nerd, what they ever like to talk about, and all that stuff. So make sure to just subscribe so you can so you can listen to that interesting podcast that we're gonna have next week. Thank you, love you guys. See you guys next week.